federal government and the petroleum marketer have agreed on how the outstanding fuel subsidy claim will be settled by the government. The agreement was reached after a meeting held at the headquarters of the Ministry of Finance in Abuja. A statement from the media advisor to the Minister of Finance, Paul Ella, explained that the marketer assured the government that operation at all depots and sales will continue until further notice. The meeting, which was held at the headquarters of the Ministry of Finance in Abuja, was attended by senior government officials from the Ministry, Debt Management Office, and Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) and the Central Bank of Nigeria. Also in attendance were representatives of the Budget Office of the Federation, Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, and the Petroleum Product Pricing Regulatory Agency. Others were representatives from the Depot and Petroleum Product Marketers Association, Major Oil Marketers Association of Nigeria, and Independent Petroleum Marketer Association of Nigeria. The oil marketers had on Sunday issued a 7-day ultimatum to the federal government for the payment of all outstanding subsidy debt, including foreign exchange differential and interest rate component owed to them. The Senate has urged the federal government to pay outstanding fuel subsidy arrear to the oil marketer to avoid proposed nationwide strike. The rest chamber also urged the oil marketers in the country to rescind a decision to embark on the nationwide strike due to unpaid subsidy arrears amounting to 1 trillion naira. The Major Oil Marketers Association of Nigeria, Depot and Petroleum Product Marketer Association, and Independent Petroleum Product Importer had on November 30th threatened to disrupt the fuel supply nationwide if the federal government failed to clear the 800 billion naira debt it owed them within 7 days. According to the marketer, at the expiration of the ultimatum, they will cease operation and withdraw their employee from all the depots across the country. In a motion at plenary, Chairman Senate Committee on that strain, Kabiru Marafa, said there's an urgent need to avert looming crisis in fuel supply due to non-payment of accrued subsidy arrear to the oil marketers. The lawmaker noted that the strike, if hatched, may lead to artificial fuel scarcity, which may span through the election period.
Aware that worried that the action of the marketers, if not checked, may result into artificial fuel scarcity that may span through the election period. More worried that the attendant consequences will impact negatively on Nigerian masses by default. Also worried that the continuous delay in the payment of the arrears has increased the debt profile from 429 billion. This was the amount that was agreed with the marketers and the executive branch when the then acting president summoned a meeting of CBN, Ministry of Finance, and all the players.
In his contribution, Senate Majority Leader Senator Ahmed Lawal also blamed the situation on previous governments, alleged that those who are laying claims to the subsidy are allies of the previous government.
I believe that we are supposed to have a very free and merry Christmas and other festivities in January and elections in February without any hindrance that could happen from any strike or maybe complications arising from this non-payment. I will therefore, even for national security reasons, insist that these payments be made immediately. If we are able to resolve this, we would have solved so many issues. If, however, this kind of sabotage continues, God forbid, we could go back to the queues and nobody in this country, nobody should say anything about President Muhammadu Buhari not doing enough, because he has played his part, the government has done its own, we have done our part. Somebody somewhere is stopping this. I don't want to input any motive. I don't want to input any motive, but whoever is stopping these payments must be someone who is interested in sabotaging this administration.
Other senators in their contribution also alleged that those within the present government are once sabotaging it, saying the issue has gone beyond National Assembly input.
Relevant authorities of this country. It has gone through the Ministry of Finance. It has gone through the Federal Executive Council. It has gone through this very responsible National Assembly. Committees finished it and we passed it here. I don't know what authority you need to release these funds so that there should be peace, and allow business to develop in this country. Therefore, Mr. President, I think that, we should try as a Senate to investigate and find out who are the elements who are giving this government bad advice to withhold this payment, because it's something which is about 400 and something billion, Mr. President. If we had paid it at that time, it would not even have amounted to 500 billion. Now it's reaching 1 trillion. Now holding this one, say, into next year, is sabotage, not just to this government, but to the people of Nigeria. So I urge, Mr. President, that this Senate should put its weight and responsibility behind and urging the government to immediately, within the next 2 weeks, pay this matter off and reach an amicable solution so that this country is not put into unnecessary crisis.
The situation is very simple. These are issues that were treated and dealt with by the National Assembly since June, and up till now, nothing has been done. As the executive, there is no question of sabotage, Mr. President. If there is any element of sabotage, it is the government itself that is sabotaging itself. Because the situation is, the issue of how this matter should be settled rests with those people that are in control of our finances in the executive arm of government. So the situation is such that now this motion that came into being actually came at the right time, because the marketers actually are frustrated. Our committee also frustrated because some agencies of government actually did not want to cooperate with the committee, and so that this matter can be put to rest once and for all.
And his duty doesn't fall under the purview of the National Assembly in this respect. So is it the DMO that is stopping this payment, or the Central Bank that is stopping the payment, or the Ministry of Finance that is stopping this payment? All these three bodies do not answer to National Assembly, other than the fact that as it pertains to approval of appropriation, we have duties over them. But regarding implementation of the law we pass and any other policy government has instituted, is the duty of the executive. Insofar as this matter relates to the general public, and those are the people we are here to represent, we will support those aspects that are going to affect them. i.e., if anybody is attempting to strangulate this nation on the basis of supply of petroleum products, we should immediately act on that basis.
What we should be thinking now is, how do we mitigate, how do we engage proactively and abate the looming crisis that is facing us, which is the Christmas festivities and the national elections. Mr. President, there were so many allegations here and counter allegations, especially as to the PIGO. When this administration comes, nobody can even establish how much is the subsidy amount owed. So it involves a meticulous work to establish that. And when that was done, a figure of 429 billion was reached. This amount that Senator Volker, the leader, the minority leader, is talking about of 1 trillion, maybe he doesn't get the motion very well. The amount still remains 429 billion. But the claimants, that is the subsidy, the owners of these monies, are saying that because of the interest rate they are paying, now it's likely that the figure is going to be 1 trillion. So you can't say, you can't compare what was there as the total debt and what the claims of this owners of this money is. So let's be very clear here. And my own concern here is that let us face what is important here, which is how to abate the looming crisis.
In this remark, Deputy Senate President Senator Ike Koromaju urged the federal government to engage marketers and agree on outstanding liability to put an end to this subsidy claim.
And essentially, I think the summary is that government should be able to keep to its agreement with people, not just the oil marketers, but once we reach an agreement, that agreement has to be kept, and everybody should be able to honor the agreement. More importantly is that the oil marketers and all those that are being owed now are employers of so many Nigerians, and if this were not paid, then the jobs of those Nigerians are put in jeopardy. And of course, the banks that gave them money may not be in the position to give money to other sectors, other people. So the implication is quite huge for us as a country. So I join the rest of you in saying that government needs to honor this obligation and make sure that these monies will be paid such that we'll have sufficient fuel supply, especially as we go into the Christmas, the New Year, and the elections. And I do hope that we don't need to overflog this matter, that a word they say is enough for the wise.
To this end, Upper Chamber advised the federal government to direct all concerned agencies to immediately pay the subsidy arrear as approved by the Federal Executive Council and passed by the National Assembly. From National Assembly Complex, Abuja, Muyo Bamdele reporting.
Ahead of the 2019 general election, the All Progressive Congress (APC), the People's Democratic Party (PDP), and Abundant Nigeria Renewal Party (ANRP) have presented their plans to tackle security challenges in the country if emerge winner at the Nigerian Political Parties Discussion Series, a political debate organized by the Center for Democracy and Development (CDD) with the theme on security. The representatives of the political parties narrated their strategies on how they will address security challenges. Spokesman of the APC, Lanre Issa Onilu, disagreed with the opposition party on how to maintain law and order in the polity. Onilu argued that President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration made tremendous inroads in tackling Boko Haram insurgency, activities of militants in the Niger Delta, farmer-herders clashes, and other violent crimes in the country since 2015. He said PDP inflicted poverty on Nigerians during its 16 years of administration and blamed the opposition for the activities of bandits and kidnapping in the Northwest. Onilu said Buhari's resolve to re-equip and retrain security personnel were aimed at tackling insecurity in the country. But the representatives of the PDP, Osita Chidoka, argued that the security issues goes beyond enforcement. He said a lot needs to be done in the aspect of intelligence gathering, adjudication, enforcement, and putting in place corrective measures for culprits. Chidoka said under the Atiku Abubakar-led administration, the country's security apparatus will be restructured in that there will be community policing where states will play active role in the funding of the security outfits in the country.
We didn't have such policies and the implementation was completely not good enough. So, but this time around, we could see that the most important thing is security. It's tied to your reputation as a country. It ties to the credibility of the government in power. Because you cannot handle security alone without the other communities, countries around you being fully involved. So the involvement of Chad, Niger, Cameroon, and all these countries that are cooperating with us has to do with the credibility of the current government. And the successes we have recorded are made possible because we have the credibility for such countries to work with us. We know they didn't work with the past government because there was no such credibility. We also know that you cannot just tackle security without being properly equipped. Your armed forces must be properly equipped. And you cannot have access to equipment because we are not at a state where we could take care of ourselves in terms of equipment. But we are able to procure the necessary equipment we need because of the credibility of this government.
So I think that the critical issue of Nigerian security is to first of all talk about recruitment, is to first of all think about the 5 domains of insecurity: intelligence, enforcement, adjudication, and correction. We cannot have one without the other. Our prison system is a cage. Our prisoners are not fingerprinted. They are not captured in any database of prisoners. Our court system, you cannot go to a court now and get the list of people who we've had judgments against. So the article plan is primarily to go back to the fundamentals, review the recruitment process in the police, redefine the national identity card system, and then devise a funding mechanism for the police before we go into the restructuring of the police into community policing, state policing. And then, of course, bringing all the agencies of the security services, from the civil defense, the Federal Road Safety Commission, the police, the SSS, and redefining the definition of security in Nigeria.
The presidential candidate of ANRP, Tokpe Fashua, on his part, said the country's biggest security challenges is the growing inequality and poverty. Fashua said if elected, his administration will address the decade-long security challenges.
The security problem will not be swept away by a broom. And I heard someone also saying that the person who's representing the broom party was given an umbrella answer. So neither the broom nor the umbrella will solve your problem. We need to step up. A lot of it tries to enforce on the pockets of people, the stomach, the fact that it is easy to recruit dissidents in our society. But we should not look at security only in terms of terrorism. There's also insecurity locally and internally by way of things like kidnapping, armed robberies, and all sorts of crimes going on in our society. The bottom line is that Nigerian society is broken. The economy is broken. And this is not a result of the recent governance only, but a perennial issue over several decades. And we have seen our country go to pieces over time, and now is the time to rescue the country and to renew the country, and that's why ANRP is here.
Speaking on the sideline, Amsri Ajanaku, CDD's senior communications officer, said the debate is part of CDD's intervention towards deepening the 2019 general election campaign conversation.
The essential thing is, we have seen in previous campaign trails that what you have had is a lot of hate speeches, a lot of mudslinging, very little focus on the issues that matter to the voters. So this platform is meant to take the political parties away from that kind of distraction, to help them to start thinking about the issues in their manifestos and how they are eventually going to operationalize those issues if they eventually win power. As you can see from what happened here today, the discussion focused on security, and you would agree with me that security is a fundamental issue, given the fact that Nigeria has been faced with a lot of security challenges, including the recent attacks suffered by the Nigerian troops in the northeast. So today, 4 political parties, the APC, the PDP, the YPP, and the ANRP came to tell citizens, voters, what they have in store in terms of their plans for them and how they want to. Because it's essential we stress that this is not just about making promises and projecting plans, but citizens, as you can see from the discussion, were interested in how do they want to bring these plans about.
Nigeria Political Party Discussion Series, NPPDS, comes at a time calls have been made for concrete issues to define the campaign discourse. The platform allows political parties discuss their proposed policies, plans and programs should the Nigerian electorate entrust them with their mandates. Awesome Raffle, Ben Television.
Senate Minority Leader Senator Biodun Olujimi has said that Nigerian has no reason to re-elect President Muhammadu Buhari, who is the All Progressive Congress presidential candidate in 2019 general election. Olujimi, who is the People Democratic senatorial candidate for Ekiti South, said Nigerians should vote in 2019 based on past record and ability to deliver. The senator, who was represented by our campaign director Sonia Adesua, spoke at Ikere Ekiti, Ekiti State, during the distribution of mathematics and English language textbook to public secondary school in her senatorial district. She said President Buhari does not have anything to campaign with as his achievement in the last 4 years. Maybe that is why he has been finding it difficult to address Nigerians.